Inner Quest explores various pathways through which you can connect with the infinite wisdom of the universe and apply it to personal, professional, and spiritual growth. This program, featuring accomplished practitioners, educators, and authors, is provided by Infinity Foundation, an innovative center for holistic studies and research. We invite you to share this journey with us.
Hello, welcome to Inner Quest. My name is Jay Stone, your host for today, and our guest is Samana Jasper. Welcome.
Thank you.
Samana is the founder of Kidz and Moms Natural Health Care in Northfield. She is a physical therapist, yoga instructor, and energy practitioner. She's been in the healing arts for over 25 years. Samana's mission is to empower healthy families. Well, why don't you explain Kidz and Moms for our audience?
Well, Kidz and Moms is the natural health care company that I started, and I'm a holistic physical therapist. So I've been doing the physical therapy for 25 years, and I've incorporated energy work and therapeutic yoga into my work now so that I can help families get healthy naturally.
And so do you still work as a physical therapist today?
I'm possibly going to do some contract therapy in the schools so I can reach more kids, but at the present time, I still have my license and I do aspects of my physical therapy within my sessions, but I'm not, doing the traditional physical therapy in clinics or anything.
So how did your physical therapy training and practice prepare you to start Kidz and Moms?
Well, I really learned about the body and how the body worked. And I think the thing I always thought as a physical therapist was that the body could heal itself and the body wanted to be healthy. And so when I learned the tools to work with the energy work and the yoga to balance and bring out the best in the body, I saw that bodies could thrive more instead of me having to do something from the outside in, like exercise and all that I could help people, heal better from the inside out.
Now, you mentioned that you do energy work with children.
Mm-hmm.
What type of energy work do you do?
Well, I'm trained in two systems. One is called Body Talk, and that was developed about 10 years ago, and it was developed by a chiropractor, acupuncturist. And the idea is that it helps clear out the underlying stresses that can affect the energy flow, and then when everything's communicating and flowing better, the body works better and it's just more efficient. And then AccuNect is another similar system that I'm trained in as well.
Okay. Now, this Body Talk, do children do it for themselves, or is Body Talk something that you do with children?
I do it on them. It's simple tapping techniques, and it's very simple tapping that's done on the head and the heart. And the idea is that it's affecting the body and mind communication. And when the tapping is done, then it's reminding the brain, hey, you need to pay attention to this going on in the body. There's very simple techniques I sometimes show the parents, but most of it I do it on them.
Okay. And is there any research that backs up the credibility of Body
Yeah, there
Talk?
is definitely, research out there, now as far as Body Talk, and there's an International Body Talk Association, and there's a lot on their website itself that, goes into that, and it's known pretty worldwide. It was started in Australia by John Veltheim. Mm-hmm. And so, I would say that there is a good amount of research out there, and the Body Talk website is probably a good place to read about it.
And now the other one was it AccuTalk?
That's called AccuNect, and that was developed by someone who used to do Body Talk, and then he developed his own technique. That's a newer technique, but it's only been out for about a year, so there's not as much research on that one yet, and I just sort of incorporate that in with the Body Talk because it allows me, just more tools to use.
Okay. Now, who participates in Kidz and Moms?
Well, what do you mean exactly? Like, who do I see, or what do you mean?
Well, where does Kidz and Moms take place? In an office, in a classroom, at a local school?
Mm-hmm. I have an office in Northfield, mm-hmm. and then I also give classes in the community. So I give classes at wellness centers, yoga studios. I've done some at schools and libraries, So the teaching in the classes is more out in the community, and then the one-on-one sessions are done in my office in Northfield.
Okay. And what goes on in the classes out in the community?
Well, there's a variety of classes. I teach one called Family Energy Dynamics, where I'm teaching parents how their energy affects their children. I teach them simple like breathing and meditation tools so they can work with their own energy and stress, and then help to be more responsive with their kids versus reactive. And so
Is that like a one-day class?
It's just like a 1 to 2 hour workshop, depending on where I'm giving it and the level.
Yeah, and now the meditation technique, any specific type of meditation technique you teach?
It's more just a simple breathing and just, coming to just, follow the breath and just to actually watch the mind. So it's teaching them that they can just take 5 minutes where they're silent and still and just, be quiet and watch the mind versus getting lost in the worry stories and what happens in the mind. So it's very simple because most parents tell me they just don't have time to meditate. So I just try to give them the most basics, and I tell them to just do that, once a day, and then keep reconnecting with the breath throughout the day to get more centered and less reactive.
Now, your name Samana means something. You want to tell our audience what that means?
Sure. It means balance. It was given to me by a spiritual teacher, and it is to remind me to stay in balance. And mainly to balance this, all the outside world and all that, in the world of form, the sensory stimulation, everything that's there, with the inner world, which is, my mind, my spirit, and to help me to keep in balance with all that so I can be centered and then share the gift of balance with others as well.
And isn't it harmful to us if we're out of balance?
Well, I don't really think you ever really get ever perfect in balance or out of balance. I think life is just a flow. And so that, we feel like we're out of balance or in balance, but the body is always balancing for whatever it's given, and so are we. It's just like a balancing act, really. And so I think that, if you go to the extremes, things can get off. But overall, life is just an ebb and flow, and that's the way we have to go with it.
Well, let's take like a simple daily cycle, the basic rest activity cycle. And so a lot of people, they got, especially moms, they've got too much activity in their life and not enough rest.
Right.
And so if, over a period of time, that excessive activity is going to lead to illness or injury or both.
Yeah. No, that's taking the extreme, that they just don't get rest and they're always under stress. And so, yoga and the energy work, the things that I do, are to help them to be in a more even state so they can be more in that middle road type of thing. And so that's why the yoga tools, the breathing, things like that, are to give them tools to work with the fact that there will be more stress during the time where the children are, growing up.
Now, I once spoke at a all-girls high school on eating disorders. And so I asked the high school girls, I said, well, how many here experience stress? And every hand in the audience was raised.
Yeah.
What age do children start to realize their stress, or what age do children start to experience stress? While I'm saying that, I know the answer. Children can experience stress as an infant.
Yeah.
Or even in utero. If the mom's stressed, then the children's stressed. But you want to talk about stress for young children and how they can relieve that?
Yeah, well, one of my classes that I teach it's called From Anxious to Awesome, and I teach 8 to 12-year-olds 6 weeks of yoga where they learn different tools, from yoga poses to breathing exercises to simple meditations. And it really helps them to center so that they can not be, so overwhelmed or stressed. So that's one thing I do. And then whenever I see clients one-on-one, I always give them some sort of simple breathing, or yoga pose or something to help them, center and deal with stress.
And that Anxious to Awesome 6-week course, does it meet once a week, a couple times?
Yeah, it's once a week, and I'm teaching at Evanston now, and I'm going to be adding Glenview in the coming weeks as well.
And do you teach children how to recognize stress?
Yeah, we do body scans so they can, check in with the different body parts, see how they're feeling, and then we do a bunch of different things throughout the class that help them just become more aware of their energy and their body.
And so if you were going to give tips for parents, because a lot of parents don't know when they're stressed themselves, or they don't know how to spot stress in their children, if you were going to give a tip to parents how to recognize stress in children, what would that be?
Well, I think anything when they're having excessive temper tantrums, when they're having, stomach aches or headaches. I mean, the body will respond if there's high levels of stress.
Talking.
Yeah, the body's talking. That's why I think they named it body talk. I'm teaching them that your body does talk, and it's just telling you that there's something that it's not really happy with right now because it really just wants to work well. And so when there are things like that, those are usually signs. Kids who have a lot of food intolerances and allergies, a lot of times they're just more sensitive, and there might be a lot of stress or worry in the house, and they're picking up on all of that.
Right. You hit a good point, is food can stress a child out. The improper food or food without good nourishment or excessive eating. And so do you help children with diets in your practice?
I'm not specialized in nutrition myself, so I guide parents basically that the more natural, the better. The less processed foods, the less sugars, the better for the child. But I usually will refer out if they actually want nutrition, counseling and things like that.
Well, I really think you do help children with nutrition as far as you're teaching children how to respect and honor the needs of their body.
Yeah, if you listen to your body, ideally, that's the best nutrition if you can really hone in on listening to your body and also seeing how it responds. Because even if it wants something, if it doesn't respond well, that might be showing you it's not the best for you at the moment.
Okay, so what goes on in your private sessions?
Well, I do an interview with if I'm going to see a child, so say I see different kids with like maybe ADHD or a behavior issue or something. I do an interview with the parent and the child, depending on how old the child is. And then we will do the energy work, which usually takes about 20-30 minutes when they're lying on the table and I do the energy work.
Now, are you teaching these children how to do energy work on themselves?
No, they're just receiving the energy work. And then afterwards, I'll somewhat, I'll just hone in on what would be a good skill or, for them to use at home. And then I might show them a simple breathing exercise or yoga pose or something to do at home.
And what are some of the yoga poses you recommend?
Well, let's see. The lion's pose is a great yoga pose that helps to release anger because a lot of kids have pent-up emotions or frustrations. And I teach the kids to use this lion's pose so they can get the anger out versus hitting their sister or, getting in a fight or something like that. So that's a big one that I give. And do you want to do it?
Sure.
It's kind of silly, but we'll do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands down our legs.
Okay.
And this gets up pent-up frustrations. So what you do is you breathe in, and as you breathe out, you stick your tongue out, you look towards the sky, and you roar. So I'll show you one first.
Okay.
Just have fun with it. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
Okay, let's do a few together.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. And make sure you look towards the sky. It helps.
And I just hope somebody's not just tuning in right now. They're going to get the wrong.
Yeah, they'll wonder.
Actually, I did feel a shift in my energy.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt a release.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, it's a great thing to do for adults, too. I teach parents to do this, too, because a lot of times they're trying to hold things in, and they need to get it out. So they can go in their bedroom and do their lion's pose and get it out. Or they teach the kids, and they do it together.
Now, isn't there... Well, this is very simple because we're sitting in a chair, but I recall learning the lion's pose. We actually do it on the floor. And
yeah, you kneel and you do all that. But I just, we're just doing more of a simplified, version.
But like I said, I felt the shift in my energy. I felt a release.
Yeah, it is a cool thing, and it's a very simple one that I show 3- and 4-year-olds, and then they remind their parents, hey, we need to do the lion pose when they see mom getting overstressed out or something like that. So I think it's a great one because we all need to have
beats yelling.
Yeah, beats yelling or hitting your sister, So I think, if you have a good way to vent anger, it's a really powerful tool.
Yeah, I'll give you and our audience a little tip. Virginia Satir, a well-known family therapist, one of the first family therapists, said, behind every anger is a demand. Mm-hmm. So when someone's acting out in anger, what is it you want?
Yeah.
What do you need? What are you looking for? What do you want's different?
Yeah.
Works.
That's true. The underlying desire that
they want something different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Did we want to do a couple, or we good with that?
Oh, a couple lines?
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it.
Let's do 2 more. This time, really make sure you look up towards the sky because it sort of resets the brain,
Okay.
and that's really important for the brain. So we'll do 2 more, and then I'm going to show you a calming technique.
Okay.
Okay? So here we go.
Ah.
Okay, make sure you look to the sky.
Ah.
Okay, I think we got enough out.
Now I want to pound my chest.
Okay, all right. Well, let me show you the other calming
Okay.
one. So the calming breath that I show parents and kids is called the switch breath, and it's to integrate or balance the right and left brain. So the idea is that we're able to use our creative artistic mind with that structural logic
There's
mind.
that
And
word balance.
I know, I used it, and then I said, but it's always that ebb and flow and trying to keep it in, what seems like balance, but it's still just, I don't know that it's ever this perfect static state. I guess what I'm saying is it's never a static state.
Well, let me ask you, how do you know when you're in balance or close to balance?
Well, when I'm feeling more that I'm just flowing with things better, then my health is better, my energy is stronger, I have a good level of energy, and my emotions tend to be more balanced so that I'm not really volatile or moody. So I think all of those, and I think my body talks to me and I listen. If I'm feeling exhausted or if I'm feeling frustrated and irritable, then I'm probably questioning if, I'm really...
Your body's talking to you.
Yes. Living in the best state of, well-being and balance.
Yeah,
for
there's
myself.
a best-selling, you said you flow well, and there's actually a best-selling book called Flow.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I read that. No, someone recommended it to me. I haven't read that yet. Is it worthwhile?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Check it out.
Actually, the subtitle, I think, is The Optimal Human Flow, the Optimal Human Experience.
Yeah, because it really is what you got to do. I mean, life
Yeah.
is filled with change every day, so you just got to flow with it.
It'd be able to adapt. Survival of the fittest.
Yep.
Okay, so
Okay,
you're going
here's
to
a
teach
breathing
it-
technique. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so for this again will help to balance the brain so it can be more productive and creative and also center and balance it. So we're going to just put our hands like this. This is the simplified version that I would use that parents or kids could use. And I'll mirror you. So you're going to close off your right nostril
Oh, okay.
and then breathe in through the left. Close and hold with the other one, the other finger. No, close, hold them both. Okay, and then breathe out your right. Okay, and you can draw your gaze downward toward the tip of your nose. Breathe in the right. And then close and hold them both with this finger.
I'm still breathing in.
Well, when you're done, then you could close it on. That's quite a breath. I know you meditate regularly. That must be why. Okay, and then breathe out the other one. And then breathe in the left. When you've had enough, close and hold. And then breathe out your other nostril, your right nostril. And you have to gaze down or eyes closed, either one. And then last one, let's breathe in the right nostril. And when you're ready, close and hold. And then close and hold. Then breathe out the left nostril. And then when you're done, you can release the hands and just close the eyes for a moment and just notice how you feel. Okay, and then you can open them. So how did that feel?
Felt great.
You have a good breath capacity.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Now, you mentioned this technique, which is real simple. You mentioned that it balances the brain. Do you have any idea why?
Well, it's when you're breathing evenly through the right and the left nostril, that's going to create the most even blood flow to both sides of the brain, and so the most level oxygen levels and blood flow to both sides of the brain. So if one side is not breathing as fully, then you're not going to have as much like oxygen or energy, and so it can affect, the capacity of the brain. That's my understanding.
Did you ever hear of the alternate nasal airflow cycle?
No, but it sounds like it's similar.
Well, it was discovered in the 1800s by Dr. Kastner, I believe. And so actually one side of the nostrils should breathe more. So let's say we're breathing with the left brain hemisphere, we should breathe more through our right nostril. If we're breathing more through our left nostril, the right brain hemisphere is more active. And so it switches about every hour and a half, plus or minus 30 minutes. But I do agree this does bring a sense of peace and inner serenity.
Yeah.
Now, is there a good time to do this breathing exercise?
I let parents figure it out for themselves, what works for them. Sometimes they do it in the morning. If they're doing it with the kids, I say like right when you get home from school is great, because right after school, the kids oftentimes, they can be a little like irritable and they're tired, they might be hungry.
Good time. Yeah.
Don't want to get those temper tantrums that might happen or meltdowns that can happen around that time. So I think that's a good time. You can do it before bed too, since it's calming.
Yeah, I would also say, in the morning, because you're getting those endorphins, those feel-good molecules. So when the inevitable stress happens during the day, the stress takes less of a physical, mental, and emotional toll.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would think afternoon would be a good time too, because we have our lowest energy in the afternoon. So that's when a good time to restore our physical, mental, and emotional energy.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps kids. They can focus better on their homework if they have to get some homework done.
Now, your mission, if I recall correctly, is to empower healthy families. So how does the work you do empower the entire family?
Well, I think it's the education, because I always make sure at least one parent is coming on the sessions and that they're learning, how their energy is affecting their child too. They're learning what I want the child to do. I might show them a technique, and then I let them know about the different workshops and classes that I give so that they might, come to one of those as well. So it's really the education, because the energy work I'm doing more on them, but then I want to teach them how can you be aware of your energy in your body and keep recentering it and bringing out the best in it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned your classes again. You've talked about like one of your classes at least. You want to mention some of your other classes?
Well, I mentioned the Family Energy Dynamics for Parents, and then there's one that's called Connected Families, Happy Families, and that's one where the parents and kids come together, and we do some yoga, some different breathing and meditation techniques. We make it more playful and fun, so it could be for kids anywhere from, generally I say 5, but I've had 4-year-olds in it as well.
Now,
5 and up.
I know there's like couples yoga, where the partners are actually assisting with the different yoga postures. Does the mom help the child in the yoga pose, and the child help the mom?
Yeah, well, there's partner poses. It is sort of like a family yoga class, and we make it playful. We might have a game or a theme or something with it, and then we incorporate some partner poses that they help each other. It's not just the parent helping the child, because that's empowering for the child too, to see that, wow, I can help mom, and I can do this, with her too. It helps them feel more empowered.
Now, I've been doing yoga 25, 30 years, and I always end each yoga practice with the Shavasana, deep relaxation, corpse pose. Do you end your classes that way?
Yes. I always do that. But with kids, it's harder to get them to lie still, and for that, especially if they're like 5 or something.
Yeah.
So I usually incorporate some sort of visualization with it as well. So they might be going to their special place where they just feel safe and happy. And then I let them lie for a few minutes in the stillness and in the silence. But if the kids still have their eyes open, or if they're, a little squirmy, I just let them be, because I know it can be hard at, different ages, or just, it depends on the state of the mind.
Yeah, but boy, would that be beneficial for a child with ADD or ADHD.
And I know from yoga, since I'm trained in yoga, that Shavasana is very important. It's when everything else sort of comes together, like digesting your practice. So I always use, some form of Shavasana.
Well, and it also, yoga is about inner peace. It also creates that inner peace and balance, because you're balancing all that physical activity that went before the Shavasana.
Yeah. I like to say it's where all the other poses come to rest, and it really helps. It's like when your body digests the food. That's what, in Shavasana or corpse pose, that's what's happening from, your whole yoga practice.
And that's an advanced pose, to be able to lie still with the mind still.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Let's see. What led you to create Kidz and Moms?
I guess it was, I love children, and so I always felt like it would be in my physical therapy prior to that, years ago, I worked more with all ages and geriatrics and things, but I hadn't been able to specialize as much as in children. But then when I started doing the yoga, I got specialized in children, and I thought, wow, I can really serve children. Because when you can help a child to get healthy naturally and to become aware of their body, they have such greater health potential. Because then they'll know tools. If you can listen to your body, from the time you're 6, you're going to have a much better chance at being healthy and, feeling well balanced or, greater well-being in
Well,
life.
you bring up a good point. Prevention. So, do you actually, children come to you who are actually in good health, and the parents are wise and say, okay, we want you to stay healthy?
Most of the children I have so far are usually, they have some sort of, issue or something going on. But after they are doing better, a lot of times the moms may still want them to come like once a month or something, just to handle just the stresses of life and to keep them healthy.
Yeah.
So I haven't had as many coming for prevention, but I've had people definitely wanting to continue, on a lesser basis so they can stay healthy and, keep getting to the work.
Now, what about fathers? Because your name of your program is Kidz and Moms. What about dads?
I do see some dads. I've named it Kidz and Moms because I felt like that was just a big group I wanted to reach, because I just see so many stressed moms with all that they have to do and everything.
Sure.
But I also see dads, and I also see just adults too, aside from, Kidz and Moms that are, that's my specialty that I specialize in. But I have regular adults, men and women, who come and see me as well for the, for the energy work and the yoga type things I do.
Well, and if you're empowering families, you got to empower the dads as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we all have families, even if we don't have little kids. We all have families.
Right. And you had a Z at the end of Kidz instead of Kids. Why the Z at the end?
I think it was just to make me a little more unique, and I think I was able to get that browser or whatever for the website, so it just was to make it a little more unique, and I think it sort of does. So.
Okay. And what inspires you to continue with Kidz and Moms?
Well, I think it's just seeing the transformation, seeing that the children and the parents can connect more, see them become more aware of their bodies and each other, and really relate to each other better. And really, one of the things I love the most is that when these kids come to see me, a lot of times they've come to other therapies and they felt sort of like they had a problem that needed to be fixed. I really help them see that they're perfect the way they are. We're just bringing out their best. And so when they can see that, that is really a gift for them, because a lot of times these kids are having to overcome the stress of feeling like there's something wrong.
Well, and I'm going to pay you a compliment. I think what inspires you is you're on a spiritual path, and keeping balance. You've had wonderful teachers that have aided you, and you're just passing along that information.
Yeah, certainly helping people to be healthy and more centered is a great form of balance that I can share.
All right. For more information about Samana, Infinity Foundation, InnerQuest talk show, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, we wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847